Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be making a clutch bag, and I actually had this leftover. This is a little bit of leftover leather that I got from Tandy Leather. I had made two purses previously from it, and I had this last little piece, and I decided a clutch bag or two is in order to go with the purses that I made. I'll show you those later. So what I did was I squared up the piece that I had, and it was big enough for me to actually make two. So I will be making two. I'll do one, which will be this one, will be lined, and I'll do a video on that separately from this one. I'm going to line this one because there is a, I don't know if you can see, but there's like a sticky mark here from the sticker that was on the leather when I purchased it, and so I'm just going to cover that up. So that one will be done later, and this is the other piece that I'm going to be using. Now I have kind of already started it a little bit. I will tell you the measurement. I cut it out, and it is 10.5 this way and 15 across. And I only use those measurements because it was 5, 10, 15, 16, I'm sorry, 16 across. And I only use those measurements because that is what the leather called for. You know, you use what you have, and if this is the best size that I can get two out of, then, you know, that's what you work with. So I kind of already started, and I'm going to turn it over here and show you a little bit what of it I've done. I don't know if you can see here, but I put a line across the middle at the halfway mark, and then a 1/4 inch on either side, and then this is 3/4 of an inch in on both sides. I did put a mark in the middle. It didn't really need that, but it was just in case for whatever reason I don't need it. So 3/4 of an inch in on either side, and then I cut it out with my rotary cutter all the way up to about this point, and then I used an X-Acto knife to get the edges so that it would come out pretty clean, and that's it. And there you can kind of see the marks that I had put on it. It's like in a silver pen. Okay, I plan on using a black zipper, which will fit inside of this window that I have now created. Flip it over, and it will look like that. And it's okay if your zipper is a bit longer, because once we fold it and sew it, that will be taken care of. Also, when I'm done, when we have it folded over, I'm going to round the edges and then sew it with rounded edges. I could do it straight, but I actually think it's just more comfortable to have rounded edges. You can use contact cement. I have or rubber cement to put around your window and to glue that down. But I also got from Tandy Leather, it's like a roll of cement as well, and rubber cement. And if you could put it down just on the edges this way, it's sticky on both sides. Then you can hold, and it just rips off pretty easily, and you can hold your zipper in place without as much mess. Sometimes I can't control how I put my cement down. It's not as neat as I would like it to be. Kind of gets all over the place. So you can do it this way. And this is just a temporary thing to hold your zipper in place for you to sew it. I'm going to put two over here, kind of holding it out a little further as well. There we go. There. That's a little long. And I'm probably going to use this as well. It will be like the loop for my little hand strap. All right, so you press it down, make sure it's on there good. And what I do is I'll peel off one side and put it in the window all the way up to the top. Try to make sure it's centered. And I just press it lightly to start with. Make sure I turn it over and I look and I see if it's centered or not. And if it's good, then I press it more firmly in place. And once you have one side, then you can easily do the other sides, and you know that everything is good. It won't be shifting around on you. Take those off. And I've had this happen before where it just rips a little bit. It's easy enough just to peel it, stick it, push that down. I'm going to flip it over, make sure we're still good. And back. And we're going to take these ends off here. Got to bend it in just a tad. Also, I'm actually going to trim it up some because I don't want that showing. Now, if you go like this, see? Looks pretty good already. And then you'll be able to open it up and get what you need and close it up. All right, next step is to sew the zipper in place. Of course, from the top side. You can see it better and you have better control to do it from the top side. So we're going to sew here, across, and I'll be back. All right, I've sewn it. As you see, this is the back side, and that's the front side. And then what I usually do is burn the edges. Kind of sealing those threads. This is more of an industrial sewing machine thread, not just the plain polyester or cotton. I'm going to trim off that last little bit there, as well as a little bit closer with these teeth. Take some of those off. There. And this is what it looks like on the front side. Okay, we're going to use our scrap piece and place it in here like that. So it's not really all that much. This is about 2.5 inches. Just gonna trim it up. And fold it in half. And what I'm going to use is a small jump ring. That's all I have to work with. So it'll work. It's just a jump ring, but of the smaller persuasion. So I just put that in there. And again, I'm going to use my tape. Just place two side by side. This is just enough to hold it. We're going to use that again shortly, so I won't have that go way too far. Now you just peel that off. And fold it over. There you go. So that's going to go in here. I think I'll place it right about there, which is about 3/4 of an inch down from the top. And that's why I said don't put this away, because we're just going to put it right there. Sometimes it's hard to get it started though. So I'm just going to close her up and see. There we go. Now we have that position, and I'm going to use this and I'm going to put it all the way around. Actually, no, just half of it, and then we'll fold it over and stick it to it. And if you think I forgot to round my edges, no, I haven't forgotten. What I tend to do is I'll do that after I stick this in place. Then you're for sure to get it right on both the top and the front side and the back side. In case I didn't say, this tape is 3/4 of an inch tape. And it is from Tandy Leather. I know I said that. Oops. It's Tanner's Bond adhesive tape is what it's called, from Tandy Leather. And you can have 20 yards, and it's 3/16 of an inch, so it's 20 by 3/16 of an inch. All right. I'll probably end up trimming this little nubby here. Maybe we should do it now while we have it open. There. I didn't want that so long. right, so I'm going to take our, just push it down, make sure it's in place, position good. And we're going to peel it off. Here we go again. If you go slower, sometimes when I go too fast is when it tends to want to rip. But if I go slower, it does a little bit better. But I get so anxious. Voila. All right, now we're gonna fold it over. I'm gonna try to start at the bottom to line things up. Just perfectly. And then you can go up the sides and all the way up to the top. If you wanted to make this bag and you didn't have a sewing machine, it can be done just using glue if you would like to. I like to sew it because I like the contrast of the threads, and I think it makes it look more professional if you sew it. And then that's it. Now the next one that I might trim down, I think maybe this is a little too tall. It ends at 8 inches tall, of course. Okay. Next, I'm going to take something round and I'm going to round up my edges. Of course, before I sew. So I have this cup that should work pretty nicely. I'm going to turn it around. Now use my marker. And I do it after I glue it because it holds it in position nicely while I'm trimming it up. Right. I do tend to take my time with doing this. because that edge is the edge that you're going to be seeing. And I tend to cut like right in the middle of the mark that I make. Or a little bit, or try to cut it off as much as I can. And like I said, this marker comes right on off. There. I might even put a rivet in here just to make sure that that does not come out. All right, now we're just ready for sewing around. And then she's done for the most part. That's a pretty big bag. All right, I'm gonna go sew it. I'll be back. Okay, there she is. She's all sewn, all done. Although there is one thing I want to do, and I think it will make it look pretty, is I'll put 2 rivets, one here and one here, just as like decoration and to ensure that it will not come apart at these corners here. So what I have is my little rivet hole punch, and we're going to determine the size. Let's see. That'll work. And how I measured was just placing it down and pressing it down, and I left a little indentation of where I pressed it, and I am putting my hole there. Use your muscle. And it goes all the way through. Put your little cap on. And also, this is my rivet setter that I have from Tandy Leather. You just sit it down here in the bottom and press. And it's in. It's set. There you go. There it is. Not bad at all. If you wanted to, you could always finish up the edges. I don't mind the way the edges look. But if it was like, didn't have this other purple color, lighter purple color, it's almost nice contrast, then you could always just edge finish it. But I think it came out pretty good. And then, let's see, do I have a strap? Well, this isn't quite a strap, but just clip that on. And there you go. Okay. So the next one I'll make will be similar to this. I might make it not as tall because I think this is kind of tall from here to here. And I will make that one lined.